2, this is 1. Radio check on uniform. How copy?
2 has you, Lima Charlie. Awesome, let's get the ATIS up at 270.1. Also, Ops is going to be calling ahead to tower for us in the test, so don't bother calling for startup anymore. After you've got the ATIS, get the AHQ up, and contact me on 32.5. Oh, and one last thing to remember. You've got all the frequencies noted down on your keyboard, so if in doubt, make sure you check there, okay?
Roger, Wilco.
Aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, time 0115, wind 028 at 10, visibility greater than 10 miles, clear, temperature 26, dew point 13, altimeter 2959, runways in use 03 left, 21 left, expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, time 0115, wind 028 at 10, visibility greater than 10 miles, clear, temperature 26, dew point 13, altimeter 2959, runways in use 03 left, 21 left, expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft
This is
type
1.
on
Radio
first
check, Fox
contact.
Mike.
Nellis Air Force Base Information
They get
Kilo,
you 5 by 5
time
permit. Hey, while we're at it, let's see if
0115,
Victor works fine.
wind
Push
028 at 10,
124.6.
visibility
And let me
greater
know
than
when
10
you're
miles, clear, temperature 26,
Pushing
dew
124.6.
point 13, altimeter 2959, runways in use 03 left, 21 left, expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, time 0115, wind
And there.
028
Ready.
at 10, visibility greater than 10 miles,
Okay, double
clear,
check radio check Victor.
temperature 26, dew point 13, altimeter 2959, runways in use 03 left, 21 left, expect visual approach.
Roger, read you Lima Charlie.
Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact.
Very good. Go ahead and finish your startup and hit me up when you're ready for taxi.
Information Kilo, time 0115, wind 028 at 10, visibility
Yeah,
greater
copy
than
that.
10 miles, clear, temperature 26, dew point 13, altimeter 2959, runways in use 03 left.
Chief, remove the
21
wheel
left.
chocks.
Expect visual approach.
Copy.
Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo.
Wheel
and
chocks are
advise
now
aircraft
removed.
Type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, time 0115, wind 028 at 10, visibility greater than 10 miles, clear, temperature 26, dew point 13, altimeter 2959, runways in use 03 left, 21 left, expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, Con 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in U03 left, 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, Con 0115. Wind 028 at 10.
Pull up,
Visibility
pull up.
greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature
Altitude,
26.
altitude.
Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in U03 left, 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, Con 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in U03 left, 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, Con 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in U03 left, 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, Con 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in U03 left, 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, Con 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in U03 left, 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, Con 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in U03 left, 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, Con 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in U03 left, 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, Con 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in U03 left, 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, Con 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in U03 left, 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, Con 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in use 03 left. 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo. Time 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in use 03 left. 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo. Time 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in use 03 left. 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo. Time 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles.
2-1 is ready for taxi.
Clear. Temperature 26.
Copy. Let me contact ground and let them know we're good to go.
Altimeter 2959. Runway
Raj.
use 03 left. 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo. Time 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in use 03 left. 21 left. Expect visual.
Alright, Kermit, you're going to lead this one again. You're going to be doing a lot of navigation stuff on this sortie, so I'm going to sit conveniently behind you and just watch how you're doing. Cool?
Roger that.
Great, go ahead and taxi to the active as instructed, and I'll follow you out. Solid copy.
One, taxi out.
And two's rolling. Ground, Devil 3 flight, 2 A-10s at Thunder, ready for taxi, Kilo. Devil 3, ground. Taxi Charlie, Golf, Alpha, cross 03 right, hold short 03 left. Charlie, Golf, Alpha, cross 03 Romeo, hold short 03 Lima, Devil 3.
Looks like those Eagles are getting ready for a pretty big mission.
Yep. I assume if we go back to the Persian Gulf, the Eagles are going to be one of the first aircraft in, right behind Seed after they clear a path. More than likely, they're going to be hitting command center, staging areas, and supply lines.
Just like they did in Iraq. But if I remember correctly, back then they were just entering service. They didn't even have targeting pods installed on all the jets. They dropped a lot of Mark 82s under a constant hail of enemy AAA. I've read a few books, and everyone was amazed about the sheer volume of what Saddam had on the ground.
Yeah, it was a trial by fire for the F-15E and her crews. Some of their missions were pretty hairy, others weren't so bad. This time will be different, though, if we go back to that side of the world. Both sides will be using a lot more precision-guided munitions like paveways and JDAMs. That is, until it's safe enough to get low and dirty with the gun. In conflict like this, our enemy is going to be better equipped and prepared, unlike what we're seeing in OEF and OIF.
Raj, so much for the you don't need the oxygen mask part.
Devil 1-2, contact tower 327.7.
Roger, contact the tower at 327.7. Okay, we're coming up to Alpha, push 327.7, past 03 to right, stop short of 03 left at the hold line, and let me know when you're ready for takeoff. I'll contact tower.
One, holding short, 03 left and up on tower.
Nellis Tower, double 1 flight, holding short 403 left, ready for departure.
Devil 1 Nellis Tower, winds are 028 for 10, cleared for takeoff runway 03 left. Please expedite your departure.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 03 left, and we'll hurry it up for you. Double 1. Alright, Kermit, go ahead and enter the active, and without stopping, get lined up and feed the power in and take off. Watch the instruments and reject the takeoff if you need to. I'll be a few seconds behind you.
Raj. One rolling.
Warning, autopilot.
Devil 1, Nellis Tower, contact departure 385.4 Alpha Mike.
Devil 1 copies. Contacting departure at 385.4 today. Okay, Kermit, push Nellis departure on uniform. I know it's a lot of jumping between different freaks. Perhaps we should go over using preset channels in one of the upcoming sourcing.
That sounds handy.
Okay, let me know when you have your uniform up on departure.
One is ready. Departure is set on uniform.
Nellis departure, Devil 1 flight is with you. Over. Apex, climbing for 10,000 feet.
Devil 1, Nellis departure, radar contact. Clear to resume on navigation.
Cleared for on navigation, Devil 1. Alright, let's climb to Angel 10, speed up and maintain 0 and 2.
1, climbing to Angels 10 and maintaining 220 indicated.
Alright, Kermit, on the way to Muffet, let's go over some of the differences between the Alpha and Charlie concerning your navigation systems and how you use them for, wait for it, navigation. As you probably noticed, there are quite a few.
A-firm. The left panel looks similar. Engine controls too. But almost everything else in the cockpit, including the stick, is different. It took quite some time in the sim to get a handle on that.
Yeah, about that stick, which is taken from a Viper, by the way. It's going to be imperative to the course of this training to learn code tasks in such a way that when I say EMS up short, or centered, as I was, your fingers do what they need to do instinctively. You're going to need to be very proficient in your switchology in the Charlie. The host task is a force multiplier, and you can use it without having to stop too much to think about what you need to do. You have to think on every button pressed or where the focus switch is, you're going to get behind the jet. I asked during the briefing to include the schematic and keyboard for reference so if you're unsure.
Thanks. If I need it, I'll flip over to it.
Cool. And with that, I'll go.
I'm all ears.
Blackjack, double one with you, south of Mopa as fragged.
Sample 1, Blackjack, radar contact into the X-ray and continuous on navigation.
Enter through X-ray, double one.
Ready to move on.
Good. Alright, let's start with the hard and NMFE. There's no point discussing the first one. You should know it inside and out as it is the main navigation tool on the A model.
Sorry, but I have to disagree here. The main navigation tool was effective employment of clock map ground skill, for which the INS is only a reference point. The drift was so high that without detailed maps of the terrain and careful study, we'd never be able to find our target.
Shit, it was that bad then. Okay. Well, the bottom line is that the Charlie uses HARS only as a backup system. As stated in the -1, the Iggy navigation system is the aircraft's primary navigation system. It provides an accurate, worldwide navigation capability. The Iggy navigation system improves navigation accuracy by use of the Iggy. This system provides attitude, navigation, and vertical and horizontal steering information. Or something like that.
Sounds like you're reading straight from the -1. But yeah, we have something similar in the A319.
Right, of course you do. Oh, hey, by the way, during startup tomorrow, please remind me to tell you a little bit more about the different modes you can use for alignment. This is something important during the QRAs, which may demand you can find yourself sitting alert there in the AOR.
Raj, I'll try, but you may have to remind me to remind you.
Okay, sounds fair.
Altitude, altitude.
Right on. Okay, another new feature for the Charlie is autopilot. Actually, we should have covered it in the beginning, as it's very handy for you to fly straight and check all your instruments as I described them, but it seems you've already figured it out.
Actually, we had it on the Alpha.
What?
The autopilot. Last he was introduced on the later versions of the A-10A.
Roger. Anyhow, it's on my list, so we need to go through it. So fireworks here, it's as simple as it gets. The autopilot switch is located just below the throttle set on the AC control panel and has three basic functions that will enable you to keep your current altitude, heading, or both. So let's go through the autopilot three functions one by one. Ready?
Can't wait.
So starting with the basic mode, which you're going to find pretty useful for cruising, we need to make sure that we're flying straight and level or pretty near it. Then we'll put the autopilot switch in the middle position, marked ALTHDG for altitude and heading hold, and press the button marked engage, disengage, located just to the left of it. You can also use the button on the left throttle, and one last thing before I forget, you should make sure that the jet is pretty well trimmed out before you set the autopilot. If you're too far out of trim, it will make the autopilot disco, which is a bit annoying. And with that, go ahead and engage the autopilot and let me know once you got her on.
Autopilot is engaged.
You'll see the indication that the autopilot is on the left side of the HUD, and you should get the chime in the helmet indicating that your autopilot is engaged. This mode is useful for cruising, especially if you fly in the lead position or are in route formation. It should go without saying, but never use any autopilot mode when flying in close formation as a wingman. Great. On to the second mode. Place the autopilot switch in the forward position, marked path.
Done.
Cool. Notice that the autopilot has not reacted to being put into path hold. Flipping the mode switch while keeping the autopilot engaged does nothing. It will stay in whatever mode the switch was in when you engaged it. Now disengage the autopilot by pressing either button. After that, while keeping your wings level, pitch your nose up and give me a 5-degree climb. Once we're in that climb, re-engage the autopilot.
Okay, done that. 5-degree climb and autopilot is back on.
Good. This mode will hold the desired path or heading while allowing you to put the aircraft into a climb or descent. Path hold will not hold bank. It does not like roll, so always make sure that the aircraft is well trimmed. Okay, let me know when you want to move on to the third and final mode.
2 is ready.
Right on. This time we're going to force the autopilot to disengage without hitting any button. I want you to gently but firmly push the nose over, and you should feel the autopilot try to right the aircraft initially, then it gives up and kicks off. Do that now.
Warning, autopilot.
Okay, it disconnected.
Perfect. So as you can see, you can add in small, minute manual control inputs while autopilot is engaged. But anything much more than that, and the autopilot will disco. Now this is handy if you need to make quick, split-second reactionary maneuvers, then you don't have to think about and take the time to hit a button to disconnect the autopilot.
Huh, imagine that.
Sweet. Get back to and trim for level flight. Push the autopilot switch in the aft position, marked ALT, and enter a 15-degree left turn. Retrim and then turn the autopilot back on, and let me know when that's done.
Yeah, done.
Cool. This is a very useful mode for when you want to prepare for an attack, scan the area, or when you just need to anchor. Your plane will hold a set altitude and bank angle, which will allow you to direct a bit of your attention onto other things, like searching for and sorting targets at the TGP, working on CDU stuff and things, or
useful, but compared to the A319, it's pretty primitive. With the 319, we've got 4 layers of autopilot, auto thrust, and computer-controlled flight modes.
I heard about that, yeah. What we have on the Hog's really simple, but it does its job. Now to finish this part, onto the restrictions. In order to engage the autopilot, you need to have the EAC switch set to on. SAS has to be engaged. IFC needs to be in the test or on position, and the ICUE must be fully aligned and selected.
Okay, got that.
Okay, on the front dash you'll find the HSI. The HSI is a very useful, if not the most useful, navigation instrument. It is located in exactly the same spot it was in the A model, on the center dash and just below the ADI. If you're reading through the manual, you probably saw a huge number of different functions and pointers described there. It's all crammed in that little small space, but trust me, sooner or later you will use all of them. Okay, ready?
Let's get to it.
Alright, starting from the center you will see a static white aircraft symbol there. This is very important to note that all of the indications are relative to this symbol. The outer ring of the HSI is where you'll find the rotating compass card with the top of the compass showing your magnetic heading. Additionally, you'll notice a thin lever line extending straight up and back down from the aircraft symbol. Finally, on the outside of the compass card you have 2 pointers, one thin and long and the other one short and thick. The longer center one is labeled as 1 and the shorter thicker one is 2. You can see the markings on the pointy end. Still with me?
Yep, go on.
Okay, just checking. I know this is a lot and it's pretty dry. Alright, back to it. So the shorter one always points to the currently selected steer point. The longer one will point towards the selected TACAN or UHF station. Now both needles are stood together if you have neither of these set. Don't turn your plane just yet, but cycle to waypoint 3 please. You can do that by making your HUD soy and pressing DMS up once, or using the steer point rocker switch on your upfront controller or the UFC. Once you've done that, observe the movement of the stick arrows and switch to waypoint 4, and finally go back to 3. Let me know when you've done that.
It behaves in a similar manner as it did on the A model.
Yeah, it's pretty standard, but it really shines when you use it in combination with the CDU. Before we move on, let's turn towards waypoint 3 before we get to Canada, eh?
Devil 1's on the new course, ready to continue.
desired course. Since we turned long before reaching waypoint 2, we are left of the desired flight path, hence the PCIe is to the right from the bearing needle. Don't worry about it too much as we'll cover it in detail tomorrow. Actually, it may be that your CDI is all the way to the right. If that's the case, just switch your waypoint back to 2 and then return to waypoint 3. Now the CDI should be on the correct side. This is all connected with the waypoint distribution, as I've said, for tomorrow's training. Where was I? Yes. 2 dots to the left and the right are used to show you how far away from the desired course you currently are, and the scale can be set in the waypoint distribution. Now on to the 2 knobs below the HSI. The left one is called the heading set knob, and it moves a heading marker around the compass. The marker looks like 2 closely set white squares. You can use it to mark a number of things like the wind direction or desired attack heading. It's not connected to any other instruments and has to be set manually. Go ahead and check it now and let me know when you're ready to move on. Correct. It allows you to set.
Yes, 2 is good to go.
Alright, man. Now that we've got some of the things up front figured out, let's move over to the right console and up into the CDU, starting with the AAP panel, which controls it.
Sounds good.
Alright, so let's move over to the AAP panel now, which you're going to find just below the CDU. We'll start with the knob on the right, known as the page select dial. By default, this should be set to the other position, which enables data input into the CDU, while the other 3 positions are for read only. These selections will allow minor changes to what is displayed, but you would be unable to edit anything. So the important thing to remember here is, if you want to change any waypoint settings or attributes, this knob has to be in the other position. Copy?
Yep. Other for display, and the rest is for data editing. Got it.
Whoa, let's back it up there, Hyperspeed. Other is for editing, and all the remaining selections are for display. You had it backwards.
Sorry about that. I copied all, but my mouth is quicker than my brain sometimes.
Well, so long as we got it now. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check the position and steer settings using the page select rotary dial. In the position setting, you'll see a lot of useful information displayed on the CDU and CDU repeater if you have it pulled up on an MFCD. Position will display your current location in both lat long and MGRS, your speed, magnetic variation, altitude, and outside air temperature. You can cycle between indicated true and ground speed here, as well as Celsius and Fahrenheit for the temperature. Any questions at this stage?
Yeah, could you tell me a bit more about the MGRS?
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. I'm guessing you don't use it too much in the civilian side, so you may have gotten a little bit rusty on that front. I'll actually take this opportunity and we'll go over two systems, UTM and MGRS. So UTM is a grid square 100 by 100 kilometers across and consists of a number from 1 to 60 and a letter. It wasn't precise enough for our needs though, so MGRS was introduced. The way MGRS works is pretty straightforward. The first set of digits determines how far the chosen point is to the east from the southwestern corner of the UTM grid square. The second set is how far north it is. So a full 10-digit coordinate has 1 meter precision. Now that's close enough to confidently put a JDAM on target without ever having seen it. Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thanks for the explanation. I'd appreciate going through differences between ground, true, and indicated speed once again.
Okay, so in order to fully explain this, we first need to do some math with lots of brackets and square roots. But I'll try to do this in a simplified way. Indicated airspeed, or IAS, is the speed reading uncorrected for instrument position and other errors. Basically, it's your pitot tube reading, and it's usually calibrated to reflect the pressure at sea level. Now, true airspeed is the actual speed of air going over the wings of the aircraft. Now, in order to get it, you take your indicated airspeed and add corrections for position error, instrument error, compressibility error, and density error. Finally, ground speed is your speed in relation to the ground and not the air. You get it by taking true airspeed and adding or subtracting the wind speed. Note that ground speed will be the only common reading for planes traveling at different altitudes. So if you want to synchronize your speed with other assets, use ground speed for that. Lastly, and most importantly, we use indicated airspeed for all of our performance data. So our takeoff, landing, stall, and all of your other speeds will be in terms of indicated airspeed.
So magnetic variation is around 12 degrees in these parts?
Hey firm, I realize you probably already know all of this, but since you asked, I'll go over it anyway. So magnetic variation is the difference between magnetic north, or the direction that magnetic compass needle points to, and true north, which is the direction along the meridian towards the North Pole. If it's east from true north, then it is positive. West, then the deviation is negative. You'll notice on some missions, other assets will use bullseye calls to true north rather than magnetic. If this happens, you'll have to add or subtract the variation of the given heading in order to create an offset point.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Ready to move on.
Alright, staying on the AAP, the steer setting will give you all of the important information about your current steer point. The image in the left column shows the image, or desired magnetic heading, which is wind corrected. Below that, you will find the distance, elevation, and bearing to the steer point, which can also be changed to show the radial from the steer point on which you currently fly.
Got it.
The right column shows time to go and desired time on target. The second option is especially useful if you want to coordinate with other assets. Plan on practicing it in one of the coming sources. If you set up a desired time on target, you'll also be shown the speed required to arrive at exactly the specified time. Finally, you can see the current wind strength and direction. Have a look at it and let me know when you're ready to move on.
Okay, ready to move on.
Now on to the waypoint info page. Go ahead and switch your AAP page select switch to this position and let me know when you're there.
Done.
So this is a handy way to display its magnetic heading, distance, and time to go to 3 different points. Top right will show that information for the currently set waypoint. Bottom right is for the anchor point, while the bottom left gives you information about the gear point. The lines on the left side allow you to select the waypoint or mark point by either entering its number or letter, or by using the scratch pad to type in the name. And that's all for the right knob. When you're ready, let me know and we'll move on to the gear point dial.
Okay, good to go.
shown. Now, we haven't added any additional waypoints to those that were part of the original flight plan, so the total number remains the same. As you can see, the navigation waypoints are not displayed in this mode, but you can cycle through them. There are many ways to do that, but we'll use the remaining button on the A-10C, which we have not covered so far. Steer point toggle switch. By pressing it up or down, you can change your selected steer point. Go ahead and cycle it up until you get an hour.
Okay, that was to set as my steer point now. Is on course for MOPA and at Angels 10. Let's talk about this HUD thing.
Fair enough. So I left this lesson for the end. I don't think there's a big difference between the HUD and the Alpha and Charlie, so we can go over it pretty quickly. Still, I have to go through the parts important for navigation just to be sure no stones are left unturned. So when you're ready, let's do it.
Yes, 2 is ready.
Alright, here we go. First, let's talk about total velocity vector, or TVV, which looks like a circle with 3 lines extending outward. It shows the aircraft's inertial velocity vector, or, using English, the point towards which the aircraft is heading, is its other name, flight path marker.
Copy. I'm aware of both names for it.
Good deal. You probably already also know that in windy conditions, and especially with a high crosswind component, the TVV may skew to one side of the HUD. This is completely normal, and it tells you that the plane is not going in the direction which the nose is pointing.
Yeah, copy.
Okay, the flight path ladder and heading tape do not need any further explanation. On the left, you can see your airspeed, which depending on the settings can be displayed as indicated. Ground speed, indicated by a letter G, or true airspeed, which will have a letter T displayed next to it. Now, on the right side of the HUD, you'll see the barometric altitude in nav and air-to-air mode. It will also show you uncorrected CACD readings. In CPIP and RP mode, it will be corrected for installation errors, non-standard temperatures, and non-standard pressures, and may be different to what the cockpit altimeter shows. Below it, you'll find a flight path angle, which shows you the rate of descent or ascent in degrees. Further below that, you'll find the radar altimeter, which shows the exact altitude over the ground up to 5,000 feet. If you are higher, it will just display 4 X's. Any questions?
You said that you can change between displaying indicated, true, and ground speed on the HUD. How do you do that?
Shit, I should have shown that to you on the ground during startup. First, you have to put the IFC switch into the test position. You'll see a number of different menu items showing up on your HUD. Using the select rocker on the UFC, move the arrow to the display mode line, and once you're there, press enter. The airspeed option lets you choose between true, ground, indicated airspeed, and Mach indicated airspeed. In this last mode, you'll also see the Mach number next to the speed readout. You change the options using the data rocker switch. Once you're happy, just switch the FC back into the on position. We will cover that in depth tomorrow.
You mentioned different master modes. How do you switch between those?
Okay, when the FC switch is set to the on position, you can cycle through the 5 different master HUD modes using the master mode control button on the stick. These are nav for navigation, guns, CPIP and CTRP release modes, and finally air-to-air. The last one is enabled when you hold the button for a few seconds.
Ready to move on.
Okay, with speed and altitude covered, we need to move on. Make sure you're in nav mode if you would, please. Your steer point is shown as a small square on your HUD. You'll also notice that there is a line extending from the TVB towards it. If the steer point is outside of the HUD field of view, the designation cue will change. Go ahead and turn 90 degrees to the left and observe the marking on your HUD, and let me know what you can see.
Steer point square now has a number above and below it, and it's just sitting on the side of the HUD. And the line coming out of the box is now attached to the TVB.
Yep. Okay, that line is pointing in the direction towards the steer point off of the TVB. This line is known as the C line. It is worth noting that the C line is not exclusive to the TVB and steer point, but that's a lesson for another time. Okay, so the box that is nailed to the side of the HUD is showing you which side of the jet the steer point is on. The number at the top is how many degrees off that side the steer point is, and the bottom number represents how many miles you are away from that steer point. So for instance, if that box was on the right side of my HUD and had a 120 on top and 13 below, I'd know that the steer point is off by 4 o'clock and 13 miles behind me. Okay, return to course now please, and let me know when we can continue.
A-2's on course.
Good. On to the final part. So some more information can be found in the bottom right corner of the HUD pertaining to our steer point. That's going to be just below the radar altimeter. The first line shows the steer point number and ID. As I've told you before, numbers from 1 to 50 are reserved for mission waypoints, 51 to 2050 are for navigation waypoints, and letters A to C are for mark points. And the ID is going to be whatever you name that waypoint, like Kingston, iCUE, or whatever, okay?
Yep, copy that.
The second line shows distance, steer point, and target elevation. The first part is self-explanatory. The second one we'll cover in detail during weapons training, but for now, it's showing the elevation source at DCS. We can manually input our target elevation, which will be displayed instead of DCS.
Alright.
The third line shows you time to go and time on target delta. Time to go simply shows how long it will take you to arrive at the steer point with your current speed. Time on target delta will only work if you have set the desired time on target, which is something we're going to be covering tomorrow.
Looks like tomorrow's sortie will be pretty intensive.
Yes, we'll do a lot of practical exercises. On the ground, you'll build your own flight plan, and then in the air, we'll practice changing waypoint attributes, creating new waypoints and mark points, changing anchor points, and using the desired time on target function.
I can't wait.
Just make sure you're well prepared and read all the operating manuals for navigation, okay?
Yeah, copy.
Okay, the last line shows the current time, but it can also be used during time hack. Good way to do time action is under fastness, in combination with the desired time on target, or separately. However, it's counterintuitive when you use it for the first time, so let's go through the process before trying it out. Ready?
Alright, I'm ready.
We'll do a 1-minute hack, so press the hack button once and type 0100 on your keypad. Press enter on your keypad. When you do that, press hack again.
Could you repeat the last part for me, please?
Blackjack, double one is west of Mopa, looking to exit the training area and join the approach for Nellis.
Devil 1, exit via X-ray. Contact approach at 291.725.
Exit through X-ray and contact approach, double one.
Approach Devil 1 west of Moapa inbound for landing with information mic.
Devil 1 approach, radar contact, continue inbound, expect a visual for 21 left.
Continue inbound for runway 21 left, Devil 1.
Devil 1, descend and maintain 5,000.
Descend and maintain 5,000, Devil 1.
Warning, autopilot.
Devil 1-2, enter a right-hand orbit over the truck stop for spacing.
Approach, Devil 1-2 copies, anchored over the truck stop, right-hand orbit.
Devil 1, contact tower at 3277, good day.
Roger, contact tower for Devil 1. See ya. Dallas Tower, Devil 1-1, runway 21 left, full stop.
Devil 1-1, wind is 028 for 10, check landing gear, clear to land, runway 21 left.
Cleared to land, 21 left, Devil 1-1.
Altitude, altitude.
Okay, I'm safe on the deck.
Raj, taxi it back to Thunder and I'll catch up with you there.
Devil 1-1, contact ground on 257.8.
Roger, contacting ground on 257.8, Devil 1-1.
Dallas Tower, Devil 1-2 on final for runway 21, full stop.
Devil 1-2, wind SAR 028 for 10, check landing gear, you are clear to land, runway 21 left.
Clear to land, 21 left, Devil 1-2.
one left via Alpha.
Devil 1-1, taxi Alpha, Golf, Charlie, for Thunder.
Taxi Alpha, Golf, Charlie for Devil 1-1.
Okay, 1, proceed with the after landing, then shutdown procedure. Good job today. Make sure you get ready for tomorrow's sortie. We'll cover a lot of practical stuff.
Roger, can't wait.
That's the spirit. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks, Kermit. Oh, one more thing. We need to knock out your ILS stuff, and weather is saying we may get some nasty in the coming days. If we get some soup, expect to scrub whatever we have planned to take advantage of that rare, non-sunny day for your ILS stuff.
Yeah, see you, boss. And thanks.
Safe on deck.
Golf Ground 112 is vacating 21 left at Bravo. 12 ground. Taxi Golf Charlie for Thunder. Taxi Golf Charlie Thunder 112.
Chief, place the wheel chocks.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.